Hello, this is Jan from Red Toad Art Studio, and today we are going to work on a Christmas project called The 12 Days of Christmas. And here is our project, The 12 Days of Christmas. There are 12 sections in this picture, and you will color a section each day of the 12 Days of Christmas. So, if you want to end on Christmas Eve and it's done on Christmas Day, you'll need to start on the 13th of December. If you want to do the last picture on Christmas Day, you'll need to start this on the 14th of December. What we are going to do is draw the basic foundation. We'll draw the patterns in, and then you will color them on the 12 days of Christmas. So, let's get started. There are several things you will need. You'll need a piece of paper. Now, the paper choice is important. If you're going to do this with colored pencil or just regular pencil, crayons, you can use any kind of paper, copy paper, sketch paper. This is a mixed media paper, which is what you will want to use if you're going to use markers or watercolors or any type of paint. Use a mixed media or watercolor paper. And I suggest you just start out with a mixed media paper, and then you can do anything, because you might not know how you want to color it yet. So just start out safe. All right, you'll need a pencil, and any pencil will do. Just your plain old yellow pencil will do, or if you have drawing pencils like this, these are great. And I use an HB pencil. An eraser. These erasers are nifty. They have little erasers that come out the end, but use any kind of eraser you have. And I use a Sharpie Ultra Fine Point pen for my black lines. One optional tool you might like to have on hand is a soft brush to brush away eraser crumbs, but that is optional. So, shall we start drawing? The first thing we need to do, we are going to frame our picture, and we're going to come in about 1/4 of an inch and draw a line all the way inside of our page. Now we're going to ink these, so don't worry about having to draw real dark. In fact, it's better if you draw lightly, because we will erase these lines before we're done. You can use a ruler for this if you'd like, but it looks more homey if you just draw it freehand. There. See, now we have our frame. I hope you can see that. I think so. Now we need to divide this into 12 or more sections so that we have a section for each day of the 12 days of Christmas. And how you do this, it will make a difference in how many sections you have. But that's what's great. We want to do it differently. Everybody's will be their own drawing and will look different than somebody else's. So you need to pick a side. I'm just going to pick this left side. Start at the line and do a swirl and go to another line. In fact, I'm even going to do a squirrel. I'm going to do a swirl like that. And I went to the other side. So now I have 1, 2, 3 sections. Now perhaps we should start one from the top and just go down here. And that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And we're going to keep going till we get 12. Let's start one here. That added another section. All right, where do you want to start another one? You just figure it, look at it, think, where are some big open spaces, and you might want to make some of those littler. How about that? Now I better do a good count here. And I'm going to put the numbers in just so I can keep count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's a tiny one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now there's one problem with this. This one is so little it will be hard to do a design. Well, this will, it's all right if we have more than 12. Let's see how that worked out. 12. Now we have 13, which is okay. This can be a solid color. You will come up with a different amount depending on how you swirl around your page. Just so you have 12 and all of them are big enough to draw something in, and the extras, your smallest ones probably, you will do in a solid color. Next thing you want to do is ink all of this. And be sure you use a pen that you can go over with watercolor or markers if you're going to use those that won't smudge. Again, I use a Sharpie Ultra Fine Point for this. You could also use the Sharpie Fine Point, but they will be a lot fatter lines, which is okay. So we will ink this. When you're inking, try to not stop until you reach the end of that line. When you stop with ink, it will puddle and make little dots and lines. And if you can't do that, try to stop at an intersection. You can't always do that either, but, as much as you can do it, it will make a better picture. And like there, I stopped for a minute and looked up, and it made a dot. Can you see that dot? Ink is different to work with than your pencil. It keeps coming out of your pen, and pencil lead doesn't do that to you. And remember, when you're inking, pull your pen towards you instead of pushing away. I stopped and made another little dot. Now here I have to change where my paper is because it will go off the edge. So I'm going to stop at that intersection and go to the end. That's something you will just have to experiment with and find out what's easiest for you in inking. And don't worry, if you get a lot of little blotches and spots, it will be fine. Now see, as I come here, I need to switch the direction, so I will stop at that intersection again. And if you're very careful, when you start again, it won't do too bad on a spot. And if you see where you missed the line, like I did there, that's all right. We just erase the line. It's the ink line that's important. There, all inked. Next, we need to erase all of our pencil lines. Okay, this is all erased, and now you can take your brush and just flick away those eraser crumbs. This is a good idea because it keeps it from smudging your ink. You could also use a soft tissue. You could also use your fingers, but lots of times you'll smudge if you use your fingers. But that's what most of us do, isn't it? We usually do this. All right, there's our foundation, all done and waiting for designs. Let's add a design or two today, and then we're going to add 3 or 4 designs in our next videos. Each one will have 3 or 4 designs until we give you about 13 or 14 designs that you can pick out of and choose, that you can choose to use on your project, Or you can make your own designs. This is your Christmas project. And you can even go ahead and finish this before the 12 days of Christmas if you want. You can do this however you want to do. So, I think I failed to mention that you could download these free instructions from our website. It will show you 13 different ornaments and how to draw them, which is enough to do your 12 days of Christmas with if you would like. My first one, I'm going to choose these Christmas lights. It's on page 2 for my first one to put in, and we'll do that today. You need to see if you can find a section that has a long straight line at the top to hang your lights from, and I think this one is mine. Okay. Now, if you have a longer section, it's really neat to have several strings of lights going, but I'm not sure I see one on my picture that I can do that with, but you might have one. Notice how this one is a big section, and I have 3 levels of lights on there, and I think that looks really neat. But I don't seem to have one on here that will work for that. So in mine, we'll just have 1 line of lights, which is perfectly okay. As I said, every one of these will be different. So you need to pencil in your design. So I'm putting some, quote, wire in here that has my lights on it. First step is to do a little rectangle. It's that part of the light that the bulb goes into. Be sure you leave enough room between each one for the bulb to fit without bumping into the others. These are very easy to do. Okay, now we need to come along and put the bulb in. And let's do one in the center where you can see it a little bit better. Do a curved line like on the left, a curved line on the right, and they're going to meet like a leaf would. Now you can either meet it as a point, or you can do a little curl at the bottom to make it look like a little flame. Can you see that little curl? Yeah, I think you probably can. Either way, it looks really cute. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, if you find out it's going to go outside the edge of your picture, you have a decision to make. Do you want this to show outside the edge? Now, this one won't, but this one will. Do you want it to go ahead and go outside that edge, or do you want it to hide behind? And I like mine to be behind. I want them to be encompassed within that section without showing anything that goes on the outside. But you could do that either way. Next, you need to ink that. Oh, I forgot one thing. We want to do our little, here we go, our little lines that show it's a light. Now, the instructions don't show that, so this is a little something extra. As we go through these, we'll show you some extra things to do to them. So, just little lines. You see these in cartoons and things that show that something's light or glittering or glowing. We'll do that with our bulbs. And we'll ink it. I do have to say, this idea of having several layers, I have to give my grandson credit for that. He came up with that idea and it was really cute. And he also came up with the idea of a string of socks. Let's do one more decoration on this drawing. We're going to do what I called the sparkles. Actually, I think they are like little lights that I have done up here. And I want to put them again on a straight line where they can dangle down. So these are the two I like to do first so that I have these nice straight spots to use. Just like. And I like to make these of different lengths. One a little longer there, one kind of medium, one really long along this line, and a nice one there. How's that? Draw your straight lines. Draw a flat line at the bottom of those. These are very easy. And then cross those lines right here at the bottom twice, just like that. It's like making a little snowflake or star. And then we need to ink it. Just that simple. Let's erase our pencil lines. Now we have our foundation for our picture all done, plus 2 days worth of decorations. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you come back and join us for the next in our series. We will be doing 2 or 3 more decorations in each one and giving you some tips that you won't even find on these to make them look a little different. So it pays to come back. So with that, I'm going to say, hope you have wonderful holidays ahead. The whole month will be very busy with Christmas, so hope you have a good time, and I will see you on our next videos. Bye-bye.